and welcome once more to Red Gaming Tech for yet more daily gaming news with myself and Marta here on the 24th of March. This time I'm bringing you some more from GDC, Phil Spencer, and of course the topic of the Xbox One. This time he discussed the topic of ID at Xbox, and he basically addressed the parity clause that has been causing a little bit of controversy, which basically requires indie studios releasing games on the Xbox One to basically publish their games on the Microsoft platform at the same time as competing platforms, preferably actually before they release on competing platforms. Now, following rather widespread criticism from the clause from independent developers and so on, Spencer did say that Microsoft is working with studios to address their concerns, and he said at the conference, quote, "I think there are a few policies out there between the different platforms that create some difficulties for independent developers, and parity is a real concern that I hear about from people. As the platform holder, we want to make sure that the best games come to our platform and make sure we're supporting the developers creating the best games for the platform." Now, he didn't actually offer any solutions, but he did reference previous policy changes regarding the Xbox One, and he said, quote, "We've taken feedback and changed course before, and today I said this is an ongoing discussion with the independent developers, and I've had discussions here at GDC. So really I want to hear from the studios on what policy they want. They're going to have to understand that as a platform holder, we have certain things that hold true to what we want to be as a platform, and they have some business needs and bandwidth needs that they need to deal with in order to survive. We need to meet them." Now, a Microsoft spokesperson did mirror these sentiments in a comment that was made earlier this month to Edge, and they said, quote, "Our goal is to not limit developers who are interested in Xbox One. In instances where games have signed a timed exclusive with another platform, we work with them on a case-by-case basis. We encourage them to get in touch at id@xbox.com. Now, Spencer did say one last thing at the GDC panel, and that was regarding the possibility of hosting full-price alpha, and basically I discussed that in a previous video, which you should find in our channel. I did it just yesterday, so go check that out if you wish to know the lowdown. Now, to be honest, I don't know how I feel about this whole parity clause thing, because the thing is, the criticism that's coming from a lot of indie developers is pretty reasonable, to be honest with you. Basically what they're saying is that as a small independent studio that is probably like, 6 people working in a garage or whatever, or some studio that they all scrape together to be able to afford, and it's literally just a few people working on this game, and it's a project of love, and of course, they want to hopefully make a little bit of money from it and get it out there on the Xbox One platform, blah blah blah. But if they want to do that, they have to develop for the Xbox One at the same time as developing for the PS4. Let's just assume they want PS4 and Xbox One, and they want to do that, and they want to get it on both platforms. But given this clause, unless they of course make an exception, that's Microsoft of course, basically the indie studio then has to develop for the PS4 and the Xbox One simultaneously. Now, the indie studios, more often than not, are not going to have the resources to do that. They're just not. They're a tiny studio who are barely scraping by, probably, and they have the resources to do one thing at a time. So what they probably have to do is they develop their game and they release it on the PS4 or the PC or whatever, and it makes a little bit of money. They're like, yay, people like our game, woo, now we have a little bit of money come in, we can start getting the Xbox One worked on. Or they do it the other way around, or whatever. I'm just saying that if they've already signed a contract with, say, Sony, or they've signed a contract and get their game on Steam, they can't obviously break that contract, and then they're kind of screwed, because this Xbox One parity clause basically limits them, because they haven't, they can't break the contract they've already signed, or they don't have the resources to actually develop 2 platforms at once. Blah 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 blah. You get the idea. So to be honest, I think Microsoft should just scrap this whole clause. I don't really understand the point of it. It limits them far too much. They're saying they don't want to limit indie developers, but they are. They're not AAA developers. They do not have the resources to do what they're asking them to do. Now, of course, this isn't the case in every single indie developer. Of course not. Some indie developers are going to come to Microsoft first, and they're not going to have any problems, and that's fine. But in every other case where they have already signed a contract with Sony, or they've got it on Steam or whatever, or they don't have it anyway yet, but they want to get it on Steam first, blah blah blah, they don't have the resources to do what Microsoft are asking them to do. And to be honest, I think this whole clause just needs to go bye-bye. I'm going to be honest, because the idea Xbox plan is a really good one. I think it's really, really good, and in combination with the development kit capability of the Xbox One, which hopefully will be coming at some point soon, it basically is really going to encourage indie development for the console, and that's great. Indie development and indie games have really come to their stride in the last few years, especially on PC, and I want to see them grow even more, because, well, that's where most of the really interesting ideas come from. So I just want to see it scrapped, and I want to see indie developers grow. That's what I think. But do let me know your opinions below in the description. Sorry, comments, not description. Anyway, that is me done for this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.